And we are now live, man. What's good with Gil and Larry, man? My name is Larry. That's my man Gil. I apologize for last week, man. Unfortunately, I was down with COVID or the viral flu, whatever the hell was going around. A lot of people got it, man. It's a lot of people sick now. So America, I suggest that y'all, if y'all not masking up, I don't know about the mask thing, but at least make sure you wipe behind each other, man, because it's definitely floating, man. So unfortunately, it's that time of season. So that's why we were not aired as we normally would last Wednesday, because I was down for the count. Unfortunately, I'm just getting back this week, so just bear with me, America. First, I want to get at, man. I guess, man, the hot topic to me, man, is as you know, the college court storming, because it's about to be March Madness. It's that time of season, and I have my views on it. First and foremost, bro. This is getting ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Like, I just see if, like, I'm trying to even think, when do we always got to storm the court because you beat a top-ranked team? Who cares? You didn't beat the number one team. Now I can see if it's a school who has a history of losing. They're losers. They have a losing culture. They're Rudies. The Rudies, like Notre Dame Rudy, don't have a shot to be playing in the big leagues, right? And you beat a giant. Then your fans get hyped and, you rush the court, do what you do, right? But you're beating teams where your team is 16 and, I don't know, they might be 16-10. So they won some games, right? And they beat a team that might have been, I don't know, like Duke, for instance. Duke was at that time currently ranked 8th in the nation. 8th. Wake Forest rushes the court because they beat Duke, who are not the number one team. Why are you rushing the court? Now it's just getting ridiculous, man. They did it with the girl Caitlin Clark, man. She almost got hurt from them unruly fans rushing the court. Now I think they deliberately, man, trying to take people's players out, man. Because I know this is the closest you're going to get to the jocks, okay? I know this is the closest, no disrespect to the people that wasn't born with athletic ability. This is the closest you get to the freaking jocks. All right. All this rushing the court crap is just getting highly ridiculous, man. But I know it's college. I get it. You're young. This is when you're the most reckless. This is the time you want to prove yourself. You want to show off. You're probably halfway drunk. Let's do it. But they streaking in the college campuses, so I get it, man. They got rid of hazing. I think they need to really dial down on this court storming crap. You feel me? Facts. Now, once again, if you are an 0-16 team and you beat the number one team, oh yeah, storm the court. You earned that right, because that's the only thing you ever going to storm. But if you got some wins underneath your belt, like I said, Wake Forest wasn't. I ain't say they top. They're not. Obviously, they're not a tourney team. They're probably an NIT team, if that, right? But they were. They have wins, bro. So why are you storming the court because you beat Duke? What is that saying about your school? What is it saying about your school with your program when you got to storm the court? And that's your best victory. I'm just saying, man, I ain't going to keep going and rambling about my opinion. Obviously, you know my opinion. I don't support it. I think it's whack. I think that they're getting outrageous with it. And this is another, somebody going to end up getting hurt. A star player going to get hurt. And then that's going to be messed up because the team who actually got a shot at doing something in the tournament is going to be hobbled because their star player got hurt because some dumb behind college fan ran his court and hurt their player, man. It's ridiculous, man. Your opinions, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty much the same. I understand you have conference rivals, especially in college. So they're both in the ACC. Mm-hmm. But you're right. It's pretty ridiculous. Duke has got that bad, for whatever reason, reputation. They're the team that is most hated in that conference, more than North Carolina or anybody else, Maryland or anybody else. It's Duke. Because it's the small academic school with the nerds, mm-hmm. and the crowd is right on top of you when it's a home game for them. But you're right. This was at Wake Forest, and Duke was not ranked number 1 or number 2 or number 3 or number 4. So the fact that they felt the need to storm, and I listen, I don't know what intent is. I don't know if they were trying to hurt somebody or not, but I'm not big into coincidences, and the fact that a Duke player got hurt, Caitlin Clark got hurt in Iowa. I don't know. It's well, she didn't get hurt, but it looked like they were coming for her.
Yeah.
So, and where's security, by the way? Where's security for these games? I realize you can't have 100 off-duty police officers, but there's got to be something there to be a deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. I mean, these are big games in this area. Don't tell me that you can't hire school security and off-duty cops, and they can't at least present an intimidation factor for these kids not to storm. But I mean, you're right. I don't know what's going through their head. I don't know if these regular dudes are just trying to get a piece at the prize, get a piece at the real athletes. It reminds me of what happened a few days ago with Cam Newton
Yeah.
at his camp. You know,
Yeah.
it's a camp, and he gets jumped. He gets jumped, and he's ragdolling these dudes single-handedly. I don't understand. How do you? Would you have ever thought of Peyton Manning or Eli Manning getting jumped at a camp, but Cam
Nope.
Newton's getting jumped? I mean, I don't know if it's the advertising. I don't know if you're looking for a different breed of player. I don't know where this camp was being held. Maybe it wasn't the best part of America.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's pretty nervy to want to jump that guy who's gigantic.
Yeah.
You know, like these other guys playing for college basketball. I mean, most of them are real big. They're bigger than the people in the crowds, but when they start rushing, they take their shot. I don't know. I mean, I would really honestly, I hate that it's just a few that ruin it for the many, but I would do away with it. I would do away with it, and I would have a security thing where if someone rushes, they get arrested. They get arrested.
Indeed.
Because all these kids are over 18, so they could get arrested. And you got to be a deterrent. It sucks because you're right. The court storming, the rushing the field, and all that all happened when it was like a championship or like a very low seed beat a very high seed, things like that. And especially if it was like a rival game, if it was like, you know, Michigan's having the worst year ever. They got one win all year, but that one win is against Ohio State, and Ohio State's like top 4 or something like that. Then okay, I can understand that. But to rush the court for pretty much every game now, it's kind of really it's watered down.
Exactly.
So it's not for me. I would do away with that.
Yeah, definitely. Since they cracking down on a lot of things in sports, that's definitely one you got to consider, man. Because it's like you said, it's just getting ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous, you know. And I'm not gonna make it. You know, I'm not gonna stay too much on this, but I know the tournament is coming around. I know you haven't really been on it. I really start buckling down when it gets about next week. Next week, the week after, because then that's when tournament will be announced, the field will be set. And then we got to actually start to really get into one of my better times of the season outside football is when you know, you get all basketball all day, man, all day. Wake up, go sit the basketball. You know, yes, the thrill is probably gone because as the older I get, the less interesting I get in these programs. You know, I don't think it's any true Cinderellas anymore. You know, them days is over. I think why because these players are playing each other AAU. You know what I mean? They're playing big league, so the thrill of playing a big school isn't as big anymore because these programs have grown. Just like it reminds me of NBA with the European players. You know, this league has went international. You know, at one point in time, yeah, if you came over and tried to play NBA and you was a European player, you couldn't hang. You know, now the game made it for the European player to shine. You know what I mean? It's not as physical. You know, it's about skill, which the European, as you know, the European player always been about the skill. And college is the same thing. I think that at one point in time, you've seen the difference. You've seen the talent disparity. You know what I mean? Now it's like there's really none. There's really none. Yeah, they might be a 15 seed, man, but they got some big boys too. They got good coaches. You know what I mean? That's where you have to see the good coaching come into play. But at this point right now, we was going to have the top 4. But I just want to elaborate on the top 4. Obviously, it's going to be a shakeup. But the top 4 as we currently stand, Houston is number 1 in the nation. Great job with Calvin Sampson. He used to be Oklahoma's old coach. Great job, man. Great job. He has built a hell of a program in Houston. Hell of a program. I don't know how we do it every year, but he keeps some players, 2 is Purdue. Zach Edey, definitely going to be a Wooden finalist. He's a big guy. He's 7 foot. He's like a Wemby, like a Shaq. He's a big guy, right? They're currently 2. UConn, last year's champion, they didn't fall off. They number 3. And the last 4th team, currently we speaking, is they got Tennessee at the 4th spot. It could alternate between Marquette. It could be Arizona. They could be Kansas. 9 out of 10 when they get into tournament play, I'm more likely it might be KU bumping up to that 4th spot. All right. So that's your top 4. At that top 4, who I think could go all the way, and this is March Madness, but I think 2 of them that could definitely go all the way. And that's going to be, for me, UConn and Houston. I think UConn and Houston go deep. They have a roster that go deep. They've been there. Purdue, for some odd reason, they like how Virginia was probably like about 6, 7, maybe 10 years ago. And they used to be, coming out number 1 seed and then move to a 16 seed. You got big high expectations, and I could see Purdue losing maybe in the 2nd, 3rd round. Maybe the 2nd, maybe make a Sweet 16, get knocked out Elite 8. You know what I mean? So that's my personal opinion. I know you ain't been following like that, but that's what I got far as I think as a Power 5 school is going to be able to power through and become in the Final 4. So you can clock me for UConn and Houston. I don't know about Purdue and I don't know about Kansas. You know what I mean? But I like Houston chances, and I definitely like UConn chances. I don't want to say repeat because it's hard to repeat in college ball, but UConn has a strong possibility of repeating.
To me, it's clearly UConn. Clearly, yeah. It's their tournament to lose. They got the players, but what they really got is the head coach.
They do.
They got the head coach. Danny Early. I have followed him since he was at Seton Hall playing because he's only a couple years older than me. Him and his brother Bobby, of course, former All-American at Duke, and their father, who legendary guy in New Jersey. Legend. So I'm going with UConn. I see what you're saying with Houston. Just to be different, I'm gonna say Purdue is the other team because they have the big man.
They do.
They have the big man. I don't know how he's gonna translate in the NBA, but as a college player, he's dominant as a college player.
Yeah.
And I like the team that's got the star player, at least at that level, and I really like it when it's the big guy because there's no answer for the big guy that's the star player versus the other team that doesn't have someone to match. You got to change your defense completely. You run a zone because you're afraid to go man-to-man. So I'm going to stick with Purdue, but I hear what you're saying, and you're probably right. It probably is Houston and Duke as the 2 top teams. But I'm going to say Purdue because of one player. But admittingly, I have not watched very much college basketball this year. I intend to watch the conference championships to get me ready for Selection Sunday.
Indeed.
So that's how I am with that. Listen, let's go to one of your other babies. Okay. We all know how you are with the boxing.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
That's another.
Oh yeah.
Another baby for you, and they just announced a big one, and they're already going on tour. Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, April 20th. They were both on First Take today.
Yeah.
It got pretty intense.
Yeah.
They've been around a little bit. this is more your wheelhouse than
Yeah.
mine. I'll say this.
Yeah.
I don't like that Ryan Garcia is making excuses, losing the tank.
Right. Right.
I don't like that. I don't
Right.
like that. Don't tell me you did the world a favor. You did boxing a favor by taking that fight.
Yeah.
Don't tell me after the fact, because prior to the fight you said you were going to win.
Right.
X, Y, and Z. But because you had a hard weight cut and your mouth was getting blisters because it was so dry, but you took the fight anyway. It's not like you gave back that paycheck, those millions and millions of dollars that you got, and now you're going to use it as an excuse. And listen, Devin Haney, I believe, is the favorite in this fight. And I'm going to say right now, I think Devin Haney is going to win because I see Ryan Garcia gives himself a back door to get out.
As it should be.
Gives himself a back door to get out. I like Ryan Garcia, and he's very good, but I don't like the excuse mentality. I don't, because you don't learn from that. You don't make change. You say, well, I only lost because of unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I think sometimes you got to be humble, take your humble pie, back up before you move forward. I do it like a GSP or Lennox Lewis. You know, everybody that they lost to, when they rematched him, they beat him and beat him handily. George St. Pierre did it. Lennox Lewis did it.
True.
So I would love to hear your opinion on this, but as an early outsider, novice in boxing these days, I'm going to say Devin Haney wins it by stoppage.
Yeah. Honestly, brother, you hit right on the button. What Ryan Garcia was, what I call the Jake Logan effect, or the Logan Paul effect. Jake and Logan Paul effect. They're TikTokers. I mean, he's a boxer, but he was more of a social media type of down, you know, because he had all the viral videos, him punching on people and that type stuff. But what he didn't, and he had power, but he has a lack of skill set too. You know what I mean? And like you say, when you make excuses, or losers make excuses, by the way. Champions make adjustments. So once again, once that loss is there, that loss, or however you justify the loss, because that's all he did was justify it. Oh, Tank, I was drained and I should have went up, and with all these hidden clauses, and you took a knee. You took a knee because you knew he's going to knock you out. So you were saving for your reputation. One thing that I can honestly say about Devin Haney, one, he has beat who they place in front of him. He has not dipped and dodged no opponent. He is skilled. You know what I mean? They're going to try to spice it up and make it a big fight, but to me, it's not a big fight at all. It's one guy who has a great skill set, one guy who is completely great in the skill set, one guy who is defensively sound, one guy, okay, the power don't translate, but is that true? Because the last opponent, he just went up, said he wasn't going to do too much. I watched that fight. He had pop on them punches, bro. He had pop. He was defensively sound. He was he was elusive, but he was in it. Like, he's not running. He's in it, but he's elusive. It's boxing. Hit, don't get hit. That's what it's called, brother. You feel me? I think his pop is going to have him ready to go. He's a champion. So he's going to be prepared to go. I don't see Ryan being able to do it because Ryan relies on a knockout punch. I keep telling you, between knockout punchers and boxers, the difference. We have Mike Tyson to prove this point. You know what I mean? When Mike Tyson was out of his prime, and I always say this, it was a lot of Don King fluff because he fluffed. If you look back, bro, and look at all them opponents he played before he took that L to Buster Douglas, you can't name me one that you could say was worthy of fighting Mike Tyson at the time. There's not one. He fought bums, over-retired bums, right? So obviously, hell, you could have got a free check and jumped up and played Mike Tyson.
No,
I'm just saying.
No, thank you.
No,
thank you.
In a minute, and got a nice check. Okay.
Not if I'm dead.
Yeah.
I think he would have hit me so hard with an uppercut that
my
head would have been detached from my neck.
No, you just got hit him with the Sonny Liston move. You got hit with the rabbit punch, the one that never hit you.
You know what?
But I ain't gonna go there. Okay.
Yeah, my wife told me
Yeah.
When you're performing, don't ever fake it.
You know. So like I said, man, when by the time Mike Tyson fought a real boxer, which was Evander Holyfield, you see the difference. And by the way, it wasn't the same Mike Tyson because once again, the loss already has set in. So I believe once you get that loss set in, it deflates the balloon. You know what I mean? So if Ryan Garcia wins, it's going to be because Devin Haney wasn't prepared and he caught him with a nice shot. I don't see either of them two things happening, my brother, be honest. Not one or two. You know.
It feels like it's the boxer versus the name.
It is.
People know the name Ryan Garcia.
It is.
But, and he probably has more followers, more fans.
He does.
He's the good-looking guy like Oscar De La Hoya was and stuff like that. But the fighter, he's like the Pernell Whitaker, or the Felix Trinidad. Like Haney is the fighter.
Yeah, he's a fighter. He's a fighter.
Garcia is the name. He's the De La Hoya.
Yeah, he is. You made a great reference when he was talking. That's what I thought of, De La Hoya. Now I take it away from Oscar because Oscar did beat some people. He got some, some names on his resume. But like you said, he had a name, Golden Boy. He was Golden Boy, so he had the
gold medal. He won the gold medal in the Olympics, 1992.
Right? Yeah, he was a guy. He was a guy, right? But when he fought Bernard Hopkins, a bruiser, a boxer.
Well, he should have never fought. He was not a middleweight, and this was Bernard Hopkins still in his prime.
Yeah, he definitely should have signed up for that. That was even when Trinidad beat him. By that time the name, it was the name fighting.
Shane Mosley beat him.
Shane Mosley. It was the name fighting. Floyd. It was the name fighting. So and speaking of Floyd. Once again, champion. I ask you this question, Gil, right? And this is dealing with greatness. And this is why I think that Floyd, to me, is one of the, if not one of the greatest fighters ever do it. In my book, is the greatest fighter ever do it, right? Is it much more harder having that target on you of being undefeated and being cocky with your undefeatedness? Isn't that much more harder to maintain? Because now when people come to see you fight, they're coming to see you lose. They're not here to celebrate your greatness. They're here to see you lose. They want to be that guy that was there in the ring when Floyd Mayweather was talking all this tough, crazy stuff, right? Because you got to sell the fight. Somebody got to be the villain, right? Right?
Right.
And that guy stepped in that ring every time and walked out that ring the way he walked into the ring. Is that not a great champion, guys?
It's a fantastic champion, and it's extra added pressure to the one that's undefeated. Mentally, like I remember hearing when the New England Patriots were going for that undefeated season, trying to go 19-0, and they lost in the Super Bowl, and they finished 18-1. They said that they were mentally spent more than physically because of that pressure of once they made the playoffs, there was no wiggle room to throw away a game. Once they were going for it, they were going for it. So they had all season. And then once you're in the playoffs, you can't lose. So then to lose in the Super Bowl, it was like they were just mentally exhausted. They were getting everybody's best shot. It wasn't just that they were the team to beat. They were undefeated. So even a bad team like the Jets or something like that, were like, we got to give them our best because we want to be that team to knock them off.
Indeed.
And I do think that O at the end is really extra pressure. I'll give you an example. John Jones, the MMA fighter, I believe, and a lot of people believe, best to this day, best MMA fighter of all time. Best. He's got two brothers. One was in the NFL. The other is still currently in NFL. So he comes from a super athletic family. This guy's the guy. He's won all his fights, and he's made a lot of really good fighters look really bad. Except he technically did not win all his fights. He has one loss on his record because he was disqualified for throwing an illegal elbow. He did a 12-6, which means straight down elbow to this one fighter named Matt Hamill, who was deaf. And he was beating the pork out of this guy, but he came with 2 illegal elbows and did not get a warning and got disqualified. You're supposed to come on an angle, like such. He came straight down, 12-6, straight down, did it twice. And that second one, now, of course, Matt Hamill, who was getting his rear end beat, of course he's going to be all staggered. He's not going to be like, oh, yeah, let's continue. He was getting killed. Okay. And then he gets hit with 2 illegal elbows. Of course he's going to say, I'm done. Well, then the referee puts up the hands and says it's over. And by rule, John Jones disqualified. That's his loss.
Gotcha.
That's his one loss. But because he had that official loss, he had no pressure to keep that O going. Not like Floyd did.
Right.
No, I mean, him and Marciano are really the only
two. The only ones undefeated. Yeah.
If you look at Rocky Marciano, and I watched, I believe it or not, I watched a lot of his fights because I used to have ESPN Classic when I lived in New Jersey.
Yes, sir.
So I watched a lot of old boxing, a lot of old baseball, a lot of old NBA, a lot. And what I'll say is that if you look at Marciano's resume of fighters, outside of Jersey Joe Wilcox, who are the other top named fighters? Okay, Jersey Joe Wilcox, he was in his prime and he beat him twice. Congratulations. Right. But the only that I recognize, the only other big name that I saw him beat, and its name was Joe Louis.
But Joe
Louis was old. The Brown
Bomber. Yeah, he was old. He didn't even want to beat him. He didn't even want to beat him.
He didn't even want to beat him.
He didn't want to beat him. Yup.
So
you're right.
Other than that, now to be fair, you look on the other side, look at Mayweather, and you see those names. You see De La Hoya.
You see De La Hoya. Cotto. Miguel Cotto.
Who's the British guy? The hitman. Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton, right?
Ricky Hatton.
He knocks out Hatton.
Hatton.
Beats Pacquiao. He beats Shane Mosley. He beats Miguel Cotto.
He beat the top dog. The age was younger, but he beat him, the redhead Mexican. You know what I'm talking about? Canelo. Like, he beat the best. He didn't duck him. He beat him. Right? Why I think I was talking about Floyd so much is because unlike, and I use Mike Tyson because that's the closest we're going to get to people that idolize a boxer, right? The difference between Mike Tyson and Floyd is that Floyd respected the sport. They both came from poverty. They both came from nothing. 2 different paths. Mike Tyson came from a detention center. He was a criminal. Straight up and down. Boxing saved him. Some behaviors haven't left because he was on the left side. Floyd Pop went to prison. Floyd had a rough time in Michigan, man. He grew up in poverty, man. Seriously. Boxing saved him. He was a student of the craft. You can say whatever you want to say about him, how flamboyant it is, you can say all that. But one thing he never did was cheat that game. He never cheated the game. To this day, he doesn't cheat this game. Because he know what that's.
Well, I'll say this to counter that about cheating the game. One big difference between Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather Jr. is Floyd is a businessman, and Floyd did not let a promoter run his career.
I agree.
He ran his career. So he knew when he wanted to fight somebody. It's not a coincidence that he fought Pacquiao 5 years later than everybody wanted him to fight him. It's not a coincidence that he fought Canelo 5 years earlier than everybody else would have wanted him to fight him.
What'd you just say? What'd you just say, Gil?
Businessman.
He's a businessman, Gil. You know and I know. Do you know the matter with the average person, Gil? Is that they go off emotion. What'd you just say first? You said when we want him to fight,
Mhm.
As a businessman, why do I want to fight you now when we could get a bigger draw? Nah, heck nah. We're gonna wait. We're gonna
Or
wait.
I can get him when he's not at his peak yet.
You can say that too, but both of them got the biggest payday of their life off that fight. I'm sure Pacquiao wasn't complaining. You
Oh,
feel me?
I'm sure he wasn't either.
Hold up, hold up, hold up. He might have been at his prime, but the dude was still undefeated, wasn't he?
No.
Who wasn't undefeated? Mayweather was still undefeated.
Pacquiao
Don't
was on.
matter. The prize is still there. We can't make up for your skill set, bro. You trying to tell me if you got a chance to play the top player, you got that one shot to dethrone that king, the competitor in you, right? The competitor in you ain't gonna find a way to try to get that win. Come on, man.
Oh, sure, but I mean,
We can't.
realistically, did you think Pacquiao had a real
Hold on.
legit shot to win?
I didn't think Pacquiao had a shot at beating Keith Thurman.
Oh, and he did.
He beat him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? It's 0-0. It's 0-0 when you in that ring. It's 0-0. Who cares about the titles? Care about all that stuff. You hear me? You train like I train. You got coaches like I got coaches, right? We didn't think that Errol Spence Jr. was gonna get handled like that.
No.
We didn't, right? Once again, we can't make the excuses. Yeah, it might have been longer, and he had a couple of defeats underneath his belt. He was still a dangerous fighter. Don't get a chop. He didn't just die off and ran in the field somewhere and got killed like old cow, pet pasture.
Mm-hmm.
He beat a young bull after that. He beat Thurman. Keith Thurman was like, to his credit, he was one of the fighters like, I don't know, the WWE, Roman Reigns. You fight every 3 months or 6 months. I'm just saying. It wasn't like Ric Flair, who had to defend his title almost every week.
He wasn't like Ali fighting.
Wasn't once again, that's a different guy. It's a different guy, different era, different era. Ali wasn't about the money. He wasn't about the money. I'm sorry, that's why he's the people's champion.
But doesn't that play into it when you say the best?
Yes.
Don't you have to play into the guy that wanted to take on all comers when they were at the top of their game? Was a showman, dude. Floyd's last 10 fights, easy 10 fights, maybe more than that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were boring. He won, but that's the floor. Winning is the floor. If you want to reach for the ceiling, you got to entertain. They're not in the fight game. They're in the entertainment business.
Okay, so
that's what they are.
You said
and Floyd. When was the last time you watched Floyd fight and you're like, that was an entertaining fight? Because
it never was. Floyd. Because I knew as a boxing fan, that's what made him great, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because the draw to the fight was always going to be, man, it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a great fight. And every time they jumped in that ring, I always said, watch the brilliance of Floyd Mayweather. He's going to make you fight his fight, which unfortunately is a technical, boring fight. It's a boring fight. He knows how to hit. He knows how to be elusive. He knows how to hit you without getting hit. I'm just saying, that's the way it is. Or we could watch a Tank Davis fight. It's going to be exciting. Tank going to be excited. But he's doing big draws like Floyd is either, is he? He's not.
Floyd's got 20 plus years
experience
as a pro.
I don't see Tank going that far though. You hear already talking about, always contemplating retirement already. They're not built the same, bro. They're not this new generation athletes not built the same, bro. I'm sorry, it's not. They get paid more, but they just not built the same. And I ain't saying on that level. Because I just want to segue into getting paid more part, which is this NBA. This NBA. By the way, it's a great game that happened last night. Great game between the Mavs and Cleveland. Cleveland has a good team, man. They have a good team. My opinion is how I felt about them last year. They had a good team last year. They're currently sitting second in the East. Underneath Boston's first, then it's Cleveland, then it's Milwaukee, and then it's who's the fourth seed? I know New York. New York's the fourth. Philly's falling because Embiid went down. Obviously, the big man's out.
They're falling fast.
They're falling fast. They'll still make the tourney. They'll still make it if Embiid comes back in time because they're definitely plummeting downward. That goes to show you what a dominant player does, right? Unfortunately, he is what he is. He's injury prone.
I'm gonna see them play in a couple weeks.
Oh, where at? Who they play?
Charlotte.
Oh, damn. At least you get to see them play. Damn, game.
They might win that game.
They might. Charlotte is terrible. It's terrible. LaMelo don't want to play. Look, the ball
had to be a Saturday game. You know what I mean? That's
game.
what was available. It's only a few days before my birthday.
LaMelo ain't gonna be playing. Yeah, you know,
okay.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Hey, listen, I went to the circus there a couple weeks ago.
Right.
To see elephants and clowns, and guess what they don't have at the circus anymore?
Elephants
and clowns. No animals.
Lying.
No animals.
What?
The circus has no animal. Ringling Brothers.
What did you go see then?
We saw acrobatics and trapeze artists.
You could have went to Vegas for that.
Well, sure.
Right.
Sure, I'll get on a plane and bring the kids.
I'm just saying, brother. The circus ain't the circus without the animal, but they said that was animal cruelty, right? Having the lions and stuff perform. I get it. Peter been lobbying. I get it, man. I get it. I'm with it. They should be running around in jungles. The tigers should be running around jungles. Elephants should be out there too. I'm with it. I ain't with you being no captain, man. I don't want to be no slave. I don't want to be no prisoner. NBA's interesting though, brother. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you about that. Them teams, man. And Thunder is serious. They're a dangerous team. OKC, SAG might win that MVP, man. The way he's going, he might get it this year. He might get it this year. Sean Gilgeous Alexander, out of Gilchrist Alexander, yeah.
Mhm.
Out of OKC Thunder, yeah.
Over Joker.
Yeah. Over Joker. I would give it to him. Over Joker. You know what I mean? Only because I'm gonna tell you why. Because one, how far that team has advanced. You feel me, from last year. You know what I mean? They went from being almost. I think they barely missed out for making the 10 team, the 10 tournament team, to now they're the second seed.
Mm-hmm.
They're the second seed. Their star player is averaging 30. He's giving you, he done had about 40, 30 and 30-point games, 40 of them. He's actually leading the league with the most 30-point games. You know what I mean? He's at that sweet spot for all players. He's at that spot where the offense runs around him, you know, and they got a nice young team. So they're going to take all that to effect, especially if they come out that West as a 2 seed. You know what I mean? They're going to take that into effect. I had Embiid as a clear runner before he got injured, but now
so did everybody.
Yeah, everybody. But now he's not even eligible because he didn't miss too much time.
Yep.
You know, so I got between Joker and SGA.
What about Tatum?
I like Tatum, but he's not going to get it. He's not going to get him, even though Boston is the number 1 seed. I don't think they're going to give it to Tatum because of the fact that he's not lighting you up every night. And he has a nice team set around him. You know what I mean? Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, spot committee, really, out there in Boston. You know,
but he's the best player, though.
Oh, he's definitely clearly the best player, but I don't think they're going to give it to him, though, because Boston was on the top seed last year. You know what I mean? That's why. I think because of the fact they're going to look at the improvement of how OKC and the improvement of their star player. That's how they're going to look at it. Even though I think the coach had a huge part to play with it. You know what I mean? Because you got the pieces, but you got to be able to use the pieces. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting. I can't wait till this thing get down to the nitty gritty. You know, because right now Minnesota's looking solid. OKC is looking solid. Boston definitely looking solid. I would love to see Philly advance, but they don't have the pieces, man. I mean, you talked about it. You went and got Buddy Hill.
They're holding on to try and make it into the play-in.
Not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good, bro. It's not gonna be good. So I still got I still think that karma going to hit. I think that karma's going to hit Milwaukee because you fired a good coach for Doc Rivers. So I got Boston coming out. To be honest with you, bro. I like my Knicks. I like my Knicks a lot. We got a lot of fight. We got a nice bench. We got the Villanova. Is New York Villanova?
Mm-hmm.
We have a gritty team, but I'm putting my team in the same category I pick Cleveland. They have the same type of team. They have a gritty team, but is it gritty enough to beat Boston? I don't think so. Not no 7-game series. I really don't. Miami was one of my horses, right? Because you can't count Miami out. If Miami is at one of them teams that will go on a run, Miami has a culture. Miami's built for the postseason, to be honest. So I'm always going to be. I can't take Miami off my radar because they do it every year. Every year you don't get to talk about Miami until when? Well, April, May. That's when you start talking about Miami. That's when they go on these dumb runs. You know, they'll get healthy at the right time. You know, Jimmy Butler is the identity of that crew. They're gonna go with Spoelstra. They have a culture. You know what I mean? So I'm still penciling Miami as one of them dudes I think could give Boston a play. I just think that this year, Boston, as long as they stay healthy, I think Boston has enough to get them there. I just got that feeling. It's that feeling when KG, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce. I got that vibe coming in. It's a new guard, but it's something about that Boston, man. You know.
Well, you think about how they got eliminated last year, how they were down 3-0.
Yeah.
And they came back to force a game 7.
They did.
Tatum got hurt right away in the beginning of the game, and it really took them out of it.
Yeah.
So now they're probably thinking that they owe Miami one. I hope they play each other at somehow, some way. They match up, and it doesn't have to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, but I'm hoping that they play each other at some point. Just like I'm hoping that Golden State and the Lakers play each other in a play-in game.
Oh man, that'd be crazy, man. Who you got? Who you got?
Lakers.
Who you got?
Lakers.
You got the Lakers?
Yeah, I think Golden State's done.
You know they've been on a crazy run lately, man. They done won the last 10 out of 12 games.
I think they're done as far as playing good teams and making the playoffs and doing anything.
Right.
I think they're too old. They don't have enough size, quality size.
I agree.
And
I agree.
They got to make a decision on Klay Thompson.
Well, I think they're loyal to him. I mean,
I think that's a mistake. I think it's a mistake. You always hear get rid of the player a year early versus a year late, and now I think they're a year late.
Yeah, I agree. They should have been got rid of Klay. You know,
they're just a bunch of guys in their 30s.
Yeah,
Chris Paul, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. They're just you can't have all your stars being in their 30s. There's a reason why Paul's coming off the bench, why Klay's coming off the bench.
Yeah.
These are guys that are going to go to the Hall of Fame.
That's a fact. And even Steph could sense it because he's been talking about the consistency, how they need to keep the consistency going to playing every to keep the consistency, which as you know, as the old teams don't have the consistency. You playing against some young balls, man. You playing against some young balls, and then like you said, they go play against LA. Anthony Davis and the boys are gonna be the key to me because then nothing you can do with AD if he plays strong. You know what I mean? And LeBron is still LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I read some about Bronny. They was commenting about how Bronny wasn't ready for the NBA, which as we know, I know he's not ready. He's not. He's not. Can he translate to a good college player? I believe he can. I believe that, obviously he's a freshman and you put a lot on him being a freshman because of who he is and his dad and exposure. But I think that if he could come back focused next year, I think Bronny will make an impact next year because he'll understand the speed of the college game. It's different from high school to college, right? So it's the same jump if he's going to make it to the NBA. You know what I mean? He's going to have to, get the college game, make an impact because he's not going to be his dad. So I don't know why they keep thinking he's going to be this electrifying figure like his dad. It's not happening. It's not. But he could be a good guard. He could be a good guard. He could be a productive guard. He could be a Jalen Brunson, possibly. Brunson got star power. I'm sorry.
Brunson's star.
Bad when he's a star. He could be Josh Hart.
Oh, the other Villanova.
Villanova guy. But yeah, so we gotta let that baby go to rest, man. All right, we gotta let that baby go to rest, man.
Josh Hart's a winner.
No, he is a winner.
You gotta remember that.
No, he is a winner.
He's not just a pretty good player off the bench. He's a winner.
No,
he came from a good program with a great head coach.
He did,
and he won himself a national championship.
And he's been a solid player in the NBA.
Right.
He's solid in New Orleans. He's been solid everywhere he's been. You know what I mean? So no shade to Josh Hart. I was kind of making a comparison of maybe being a solid player, compared to a star. It's a difference.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he'll be a solid player. Now, his little brother, possibility to be a star because of the upside. He's more like his pop on the height level. Nobody's going to live up to the hype of their dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, you're not going to get to me LeBron James. That's like actually saying you're going to get to me Michael Jordan's. Certain players you're just not going to get too many of. You know what I mean? Moving on before we close this thing out with the last thing, which would be wrestling. I want to talk about this football thing real quick because you got
there's a lot. There's the running back free agents. There's the combine. And Mel Kiper Jr. put out his
he did
draft 2.0.
Let's get to this football, man. I want to talk about these running backs first, right? It's 5 that jumped off the page for me that and I just want to see your opinion. I'll go through them real fast, real quick. First, we got Saquon. Is he staying in New York or is he going?
I think it depends on Daniel Jones if they keep him or not.
Okay.
I think if they keep Daniel Jones, Saquon's gone.
Oh, okay.
I think if they let Daniel Jones go, which I don't know what can with his contract, but if they get out of it, if they wind up drafting a quarterback in this draft, then I think they'll bring back Saquon. Saquon really screwed himself. Saquon got offered a much better deal, and then it got taken off the table because he wouldn't sign it, and then it came back with the tag, which was less than the original deal per year. I mean, he wound up signing a $10 million deal with incentives versus a $12 million per year deal, and I believe it was a 3-year deal. So he really kind of screwed himself. I don't think Saquon is in a position of power.
He's not.
So he either takes what the Giants give him or he's gone.
I agree. I totally agree. I don't think he has a bargaining power anymore.
If I had to guess, I think he's gone. And then I think he goes from making $10 million to $5 million.
Josh Jacobs is on the market. Does he stay and the Raiders find a way to re-sign him, or does he test the waters and he's on another team?
I don't like re-signing running backs that have been in the league for a handful of years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say no. I think he goes somewhere. I think he gets a better deal than Saquon, but I don't think it's with the Raiders. Running backs are a dime a dozen.
Austin Eckler, does he stay in the Chargers or are they getting rid of him?
No, they're getting rid of him. 100%.
100%.
I think he can still play.
Right.
I think he could be good for somebody, whether he's a starter or a complimentary back. If you really got that power back on your team, and he's a great complement.
Yeah, exactly. He's a great.
I don't know if he's a 20+ touch guy.
What they try to
anymore.
They try to make him the main guy, and I think that role, it doesn't fit him. You know what I mean? It didn't fit him. Like when he wasn't the focal, it worked because he's underneath the radar. He wasn't expected to come out.
Yeah, when he was behind what was his name? The kid from Wisconsin.
Oh, Melvin Gordon.
When he was behind, when that was the 1-2 punch, it really worked.
It worked. You're right. But when he became the focal, that's when he had a bad year. You know. What about
King Henry?
King Henry.
I think he's out of Tennessee. I think he's a starter for at least a couple of years.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's a Hall of Fame back. This is a Hall of Fame back now.
I agree.
Those other guys have had moments, but this guy's Hall of Fame.
He's Hall of Fame.
Man, you put him
in Philly.
You know, Philly needs a running back
because Swift is on the market.
They do need. I was thinking Baltimore, but you might be right. Philly might be the way to go, or
Cowboys. Because Tony Pollard's out. I can answer that question for you.
Yeah, I think short term, I would do. I would do Henry.
I don't think King Henry gonna go to Dallas though. I don't think he's gonna go. I don't see. I can see him in Philly though. Believe it or not, I see him in Philly, man. I can. Now I don't know if Philly's gonna give him the money he's gonna want. Like you said, Baltimore might be even bad look though. Down there with the late MVP Lamar, it might not be a bad look. King Henry in Baltimore could be a fit.
You're only looking at 2 years.
Yeah, only looking at 2 years. You're right.
2 years.
You're right. So I can see it happening. You said the Combine.
The Combine, which this is Combine week, the GMs and coaches have done their interviews the last couple days. Now the players have showed up. Thursday, it's going to be defensive linemen and the linebackers. Friday, it's going to be defensive backs and tight ends. That's a weird pairing, I think. Saturday, Saturday's the big one. Well, you would think it's the big one. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs. Now, unfortunately, the top names in those positions, not the running backs, but quarterbacks and wide receivers, they're not going to go through any drills. They're only going to be there for their physical and interviews. And Sunday will be offensive linemen and special teams. So, I wanted to ask you, like, who are you looking forward to seeing out there? But it looks like the guys who are projected to be, top of their position, they're not going to go out there and perform because they're only going to just bring their stock down.
Yeah, so I really can't make no evaluation because it's not for the top guys. This evaluation see who's going to rise up on that board that we didn't see coming. So it's hard for me to see what type of player that we're going to look at to see who's going to come out with the numbers on. You know what I mean? So that's hard. It's a hard one to call because, like you said, the top guys are not coming to perform because they're guaranteed for the most part of going to, they're going to a team.
Yeah, they're going to a team like top 10.
The top 10. Why would Marvin Harrison Jr. practice? Why would Caleb practice? Michael Penix and them boys. Why are they practicing? You know what I mean?
You're going to have to be throwing to a guy that you never played with before, or you're going to be catching from a quarterback that you've never caught a ball from before. So it doesn't benefit them really at all. But I remember it wasn't that long ago when the top guys were going at it.
They were, man. And once again, it's a different era, man.
It's a different era. Guys are
man.
They're bowl games. They're not doing a combine. Maybe they do their senior day, maybe not.
Nope. The power, I'm trying to tell you, the power went to the athlete, man. As we keep going, the power gets more and more in that. Think about the Neil, that's for the athlete. There's no more of this old school crap, man. I had a conversation about that, man. I talked to somebody about, Diff Top on some music stuff, right? And I said that we keep obviously we see people are being successful, right? So it's natural when I don't know how you view yourself, right? But I view myself in the high esteem. I really do. And it's not grandeur either. It's not delusional either. I really walk in this space where I'm very confident in myself, right? So it's hard for me to worship somebody else, so to speak. You know what I mean? I respect the hustle. I respect the grind. I respect the ambition. I respect all of that. But I understand and also think of time and opportunity too. And that you seize the opportunity when the time comes. Because we all have the moments in life, right? So it's hard for me to put another person on them type of pedestals, And I think that's the problem with the old to the new. The old people, we so stuck on what you done. Oh, yeah, he's great. The youngers don't care about all that. They're trying to make their legacy. They're trying to forge their fire. They're trying to get their armor tailor-made. They don't care about the ones that paved the way. because they paved the way without getting no money. Basketball, we can talk about Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all times, right? Michael Jordan ain't never seen the paychecks that these boys are seeing. You got guys like LaMelo Ball making $200 million, and he's nowhere near Michael Jordan's skill set. You think LaMelo cares? I don't think he cares.
That's just how it is.
That's how it is, Gil. I'm not knocking the thing. I'm just telling you that we must evolve with the times. That's what I'm saying in this whole statement. I went through the whole long way route to say you got to evolve with the times. Okay? Computers are here. What you gonna do? Not be on one, or you gonna die and say, "Oh, I don't know the smartphone." Apple or Android, pick one. Pick one. Dinosaur.
I haven't needed a computer in 10 years because of my phone. You know what I do the least on my phone?
What's that?
Talk.
Right? They ask me all the time, "Hey, you gotta be bored of here being by yourself." Well, what? I got a phone. I got Netflix. I got people I can talk to. I got
all these apps,
I'm on
social
YouTube,
media,
I'm apps. I'm
games.
doing a research. I'm Oscar Mom. How could I be bored? How could anybody be bored in this day and time when we got the internet? I'm in China. Okay. I took a ride to Japan. You made me watch Oppenheimer, so I guess where I was at. I was in Japan. You know
I watched it too.
I was in Japan. Okay.
I watched it too.
Oh, I'm not giving too much away.
No, we'll do it at the end.
Well, I won't. Okay.
We'll do it at the end.
But anyway, Mel Kiper came out with his board.
Mel Kiper Jr., who I think is overrated tremendously because I get more picks right than he does. That's a fact. That's a fact, audience. I get more picks every year than he does. But he is the big name when it comes to mock drafts. He's the first one everybody thinks of. I don't think he's the best. He's not better than me. I can tell you that. But he's the one on ESPN. He's the one that's at the draft every year. I'm not. He's got his mock draft 2.0. It came out. Daniel Jeremiah came out with his last week for the NFL Network. And I definitely prefer Daniel Jeremiah over Mel Kiper Jr. just as doing the job research-wise. But Mel Kiper is the bigger name. The list came out today. I'll just do the top 10.
Okay.
And just get your thoughts on it. Number 1, he has Caleb Williams out of USC going to Chicago. Number 2, here's where there's a little bit of a change. He's got Washington, and by the way, he doesn't do trades because you can't predict trades.
Okay.
So it's just straight up.
Okay.
Right now. Washington picking at number 2. He has Jaden Daniels, quarterback LSU, there. Most people prior to that had Drake May.
I could actually see the Jaden pick though, because of
I can
ownership.
see it too.
Because of ownership.
He's more of an electric kind of player. I don't know if it translates to the NFL, but in college, he was a lot more electric. Drake May is more button up. You know, it's got the tools, looks good in the uniform, but there's a reason why Daniels won the Heisman. I mean, he was electric.
And that's a fact. And Washington in the past went with electric, RG3. So they might actually go down that road again. If you're going to do with a splash, right? Let's go to splash.
There you go. RG3 was coming off of winning the Heisman when he got drafted.
Sounds like deja vu to me.
And they won't have to give up a ton of draft picks to move up to the number 2 spot. They can just stay put.
So I think that's actually an accurate pick right there, honestly.
Number 3, Drake May going to New England.
Yeah.
Which I can see that.
I can see that. I can see moving on from Matt Jones. It didn't work out there. New coach, the quarterback that he could build around if he's supposed to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see New England going for a quarterback. Indeed.
Arizona will nab the first wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, man.
There's no way he falls past 4.
Yeah, he's definitely not going back 4, but I don't like him out of Arizona.
Right? Yeah, I want him in Chicago.
I agree. I would rather have him in Chicago, man. Or rather lined up with Justin Fields somewhere. I think that Arizona. Oh well, I guess Kyler Murray can make it happen.
Hmm.
We'll see.
I guess so. Give
Wasn't
him
DeAndre
a
Hopkins down
number
there
one
with
guy,
Kyler
right?
Murray? Wasn't DeAndre Hopkins down there with Kyler Murray?
He's not there anymore.
I know. I mean, he's out Tennessee, and then he might be moving too. But wasn't he out there with Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
Missing
Remember he
hands.
caught that game winner,
Yup.
winning Hail Mary a few years ago.
I mean, you can't pass up on Marvin Harrison Jr. So
No,
you know what I'm saying.
he's not going past 4.
Yeah. So
If
all
you
right,
don't take him in
Arizona.
the top 3, he's going 4.
I mean, they'll eventually Larry Fitzgerald him. They'll build around him. They'll build around him before they build around the quarterback. Watch what I tell you.
All right, so here is a surprise to me. Not so much the position, but the player. At number 5, the Los Angeles Chargers. Remember who their new head coach is. They pick offensive tackle from Alabama, J.C. Latham. That is not who I would have thought would be the first offensive tackle off the board. Now, remember,
you got the Notre Dame.
Jr. is going to have a handful more of these, and still he's going to be wrong 90% of the time.
Right.
But I am surprised that it's not the kid from Penn State or the kid from Notre Dame.
Got you.
I'm surprised at that.
I won't be surprised if it don't end up being the one from Notre Dame, though. But
right.
That's what because more likely that's what the route he's gonna go. He's gonna protect his quarterback.
Right.
So he's definitely going O-line.
I think it's going to be O-line.
I do too.
I didn't think it was going to be this guy. At number 6, the New York Giants take a wide receiver, Rome Odunze.
Oh yeah, from Washington. They need one.
Pretty good pick.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
Yeah. Now they can also go offensive lineman.
Offensive lineman. I say it was going to either be offensive lineman or it's going to be they'll probably go for the offensive lineman later rounds. You feel me? See what's best on the board for him at that position. But you definitely need a playmaker. You need a playmaker.
Especially if they're going to keep Daniels.
They're going to keep Daniel Jones
and get rid of Saquon.
Yeah, you're right.
They need somebody. Number 7, Tennessee. They take Joe Alt, offensive tackle, Notre Dame. They needed.
They need one. They need one. They're going to protect Will Levis.
So that actually fell on their lap.
Yeah.
It worked out that way.
Yeah.
So that's a very good pick.
They have an offensive-minded coach.
Atlanta, they take the first defensive player in the draft. He has them taking Dallas Turner, edge rusher, Alabama.
They need one. They need one.
They need a quarterback.
Yeah, they definitely need a quarterback.
They need a quarterback.
But once again, they said they can't do trades.
Figure that out.
Once again, they say they don't do trades. So who knows? Atlanta might pull the trigger, try to get something at 8. You feel me?
Why doesn't Atlanta go after Justin Fields?
I would. You're gonna be on the market. That's why I said I don't know. I don't know. They definitely need a quarterback.
A 2 and a 4 for Justin Fields.
For sure. That's your quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he'll thrive in Atlanta. To be honest, I think he'll thrive in Atlanta.
Good tight end, good wide receiver, couple good running backs.
Yeah. Good run. Definitely got a couple good running backs. They got 3 of them.
Yeah. Number 9, Chicago picks again. Now, let me tell you, if this happens, I gotta be honest, you're not gonna hear any complaints out of me. If they get Caleb at number 1, and at number 9 they get Malik Neighbors, wide receiver out of LSU, you get no complaints out of me.
Yeah, man.
Zero. If they're okay, listen, I made it very obvious that I want the Marvin Harrison Jr., but if they can get either Rome, Neighbors, or who number 10, he's got the New York Jets getting Brock Bowers, tight end. You give me one of those 3 guys to go with Caleb.
Kiss the baby
goodbye.
Thank you
very much. Thank
Kiss
you
the
very
baby
much.
goodbye, punt. Forget about it.
That would be nice. Now, come watch the show, because that'll be nice. DJ Moore in the mix. That'll be nice. The Bears will be worth watching. So that's his top 10. I think we're in agreement. Really, the only head scratcher was the Chargers.
Yeah.
Not the position, but the player.
The player. Right.
And would Giants go receiver or offensive lineman? If they go receiver, they're getting a good one there with Rome.
Oh, indeed. And if they don't, if they decide to do a dummy move, y'all gonna grab them.
you could get Joe Alt. They could get Joe Alt. And if he's gone, they can either get this J.C. Latham or they could get the Penn State kid. I can't say his name, so he's the Penn State kid.
Penn State kid, right?
Yeah, he's got a big name. And I guess we can end the show. Past weekend Elimination Chamber. I know you didn't see it. I did see it. This is the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. They're working on the storylines. I guess taking the winners and advancing them to WrestleMania. It looks like it's going to be Becky Lynch because she won the Women's Elimination Chamber. She will be challenging Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley beat Nia Jax, so she retains the title. So that'll probably be like night number 1 at WrestleMania. Right now, there's no real storyline between those two, so they got to get that popping. On the men's side, you got Drew McIntyre won the men's Elimination Chamber. He will be challenging Seth freaking Rollins. Now, the thing with this is Seth Rollins again offered at Elimination Chamber, he offered his services to be Cody Rhodes' Shield. And I got to tell you, I smell a rat. I feel like Seth Rollins could lose his title and backstab Cody Rhodes. I'm thinking Cody Rhodes may not finish the story at WrestleMania after all.
Yeah.
I'm thinking somewhere along the line, WWE is going to be having some kind of event at Madison Square Garden, and I think that's where he gets the title, because that's what they always say. The strap was taken away from his father, Dusty, at Madison Square Garden, and I think that's where it happens. That's where he wins.
That'd be smart.
That's why he didn't put up a big fight when The Rock came in, and it looked like The Rock for a week was going to go against his cousin Roman Reigns.
And think about it,
storyline wise, Cody would get it at WrestleMania, but the fans wouldn't accept that. They wouldn't accept that. So now they're putting on the match, Cody and Roman, that the fans want, but the result could still be the same.
And think about it, it's still going to build that anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we know these creative content.
You could keep it going.
Keep it going. And then, like you said, it will all add up. The stars will align in Madison Square Garden, baby, and it will be worth it.
And not only that, Cody Rhodes said, even though he knows he's challenging Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, he also wants to take on The Rock. He said, I want you, Rock. I want you one-on-one. So have Cody get screwed at WrestleMania, and then have the next time at like SummerSlam, have Cody and The Rock build him back up. He beats The Rock. And then sometime before the year is out, whichever event they have at Madison Square Garden, you have Roman Reigns finally lose. And another thing is Roman Reigns is getting close to beating Hulk Hogan's reign.
Record, yeah.
He's getting close. So they might want to keep him going to pass Hulk Hogan before he loses it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also think at some point, it might be SummerSlam, I think McIntyre beats Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, but then loses at SummerSlam to Randy Orton. Because Randy Orton is close to breaking Ric Flair's title run. I think he's one behind Cena, and Flair are both at 16. I think Randy Orton's at 15. So I think if he beats him at SummerSlam, he ties. And because he's still a full-time wrestler, he'll be the guy to break the record. He'll get that push to break the record at some point, within the next 2 years. as long as he, doesn't get hurt again, doesn't get injured. So that's how I see it. They're building up WrestleMania. Raw and SmackDown are must-see TV for the next month. And it looks like this isn't official. But it looks like our next podcast is probably going to be on Monday. And it's going to be our special podcast. It's going to be the Oscars podcast. You and I have both been watching some movies. We haven't gotten to all of them, but we've gotten to a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And we are going to have our own Oscars show. Hopefully, our friend Michelle can join in. She's 50-50 right now, but you and I will do it on Monday.
Yes, sir.
9 p.m. And we will discuss and pick our winners for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress. Those are the big ones. So we'll do that. We'll pick who we think should win and who we think will win.
I already know from the movies I saw, I think gonna win.
Well, I'm not.
Yeah, we don't go there.
I got to be honest. I mean, I don't want to be a down kill, but from what I saw so far, I'm not super impressed. I've noticed a lot of long, drawn out.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be some good editing
if we looking at
these movies, and you could have chopped a half hour off of all of them.
If we looking at a character, we talking about characters as a strong character. What I seen yesterday, and I ain't giving the movie away, he got mobbed down because he played the hell out of that role. And I'm telling you, at first I was one of the movies, I'm like, I don't know about this, but they'll loop you because of their character. He's such a character. It's like, yeah, I can see him winning that joint off that character, man. Because, like I said, the storyline of how you like, I don't know about that. But the character is such a character. It's just like, man, he played that character.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. I think I'm right, too. I'm looking so far, but there's other movies I haven't seen. So far on my list, I think I got who's going to win that best.
I got one more movie to see that I know I can see, and it's Maestro on Netflix. After that, I think I'm done. I don't think I'm going to be able to, because I'm not buying a movie for $20.
Yeah, I'm not either, brother.
To watch it one time for our podcast.
So I'm
not doing it. There's nothing out there that's really interesting me. The one I wanted to see the most, I saw.
Yeah.
It was Oppenheimer. That was the one I wanted to see the most.
Yeah, Oppenheimer's a good one.
So
I got 4 so far, so I just got the other 2 I got. So the other 3 I gotta watch.
You saw the Leo movie.
I saw Leo. I saw Barbie.
Did you see the Jeffrey Wright movie? I think it's called American Fiction.
I didn't. Which channel is it on? What is it on? Like Max? Is it on?
No, because I can't watch it. It's
You got Peacock?
I have Peacock, and it's not on
Peacock.
I got Max, Hulu, Amazon.
You got Stars?
I don't have Stars.
Is it on Stars?
I don't know. I
I'll check. I got the Roku app, so I'll check.
I don't have Apple TV.
American Fiction, right?
American Fiction starring Jeffrey Wright.
Okay. What about The Holdovers?
I watched that. That's on Peacock.
Okay, I started watching it, but that's with the teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta watch it.
On Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, I gotta start. I tried to get into it, but I was like halfway in it. So
all right, don't give too much. Don't give too much away.
I ain't seen it yet.
Okay,
I'll watch it.
Yeah, I think Maestro is the last one that I'm gonna see, and I gotta be honest, it's not one that I'm looking forward to. Because I can see it, I will see it.
It's one of those things where you definitely gotta get into it. It's a slow burner.
Yeah. Again, these movies.
But it's
it's like what the Academy likes. They like the slow, drawn out.
It's a dope. It's a dope movie though. Once you get past, like you were telling me about the Barbie movie. Once you get past
I saw Barbie.
I know. Where you tell me how it was like when you get past the surface of it all, the same with Maestro. You gotta get past the weird stuff, and then you'll get it. Why it was nominated, to my opinion.
Okay. All right. Well,
all right, brother.
That's our show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the What's Good with Gil and Larry podcast. We will be on, like I said, on Monday. We will be doing no sports. It'll just be Oscars. And then we'll be back to this type of show 1 week from today, hopefully. And if by chance we are not on, either something out of the norm happened, or there just really isn't content to do a show. We're not going to do an hour show just talking about, wrestling or just talking about the combine. If we don't have a few things that we think we can give you a solid 60 minutes, we're not gonna try and stretch out something that no one's really interested.
Then again, this is What's Good with Gil and Larry. So we'll talk about other stuff, man. We'll talk about movies, shows, trending topics, you know. So we just want to let America know that it's not always just sports, because sports and entertainment are interconnected. Okay,
100%.
So that's what we really started this thing to be. We didn't wanted to be strictly sports. That's why we did Oscars, we did the Halloweens, we did the Christmas, we did. So we've been slowly implementing our format to you people. So when we come in, don't always think it's going to just be sports, because we watch movies, we definitely watch shows, and we definitely be on trending topics in the society that we live in.
100%. If it's interesting, then we're interested.
You'll hear from us.
100%. All right. For my man, Larry Loper, I'm Gil Larry. We'll catch you Monday. Until then, have a great weekend, and we'll see you at the Oscars.
My man, 100 grand.
My man. Deuces, y'all.
Deuces.